Every year, the NFL has its annual draft to see where highly touted collegiate players will land to begin their NFL careers. However, some of these picks really make you scratch your head.
That Raider fan is like, wait a minute, I thought we were going to get Josh Allen.
Even with hindsight, some guys getting picked by certain teams just made no sense. So today, we present to you 10 NFL draft picks that still make no sense. Buccaneers pick Roberto Aguayo at the second round of the 2016 NFL Draft. When NFL teams draft a kicker, they usually tend to draft them in the very late rounds of the draft. Well, that wasn't the case with Roberto Aguayo, who was drafted by the Buccaneers with the 59th pick in the second round of the 2016 draft. Bucs general manager Jason Licht traded away third and fourth round picks to the Kansas City Chiefs to move up and acquire the two-time All-American, thinking that he was going to be their kicker long-term. Instead, Aguayo flopped in the league, kicking 22 of 31 field goals as a rookie and converting 32 of 34 extra points. And ultimately, he was waived in 2017.
It's never easy. I'll just get right to it. We're gonna release you, but I do want to tell you that we appreciate everything you've done for us.
Aguayo bounced around the league with brief stints with the Chicago Bears, Los Angeles Chargers, and New England Patriots, and has a 71% field goal percentage. Aguayo was the highest drafted kicker since Mike Nugent back in 2005. But he had a longer career, and he had a field goal percentage of 81%. Commanders drafting Emmanuel Forbes over Christian Gonzalez in 2023. The Commanders drafted Forbes with the 16th pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, hoping that he would become a shutdown corner and keep opposing wide receivers under control. Then Commanders general manager Martin Mayhew referred to Forbes as the total package. Yeah, about that. Forbes was benched midway in his rookie season as he had one interception and was bullied by A.J. Brown, who had 130 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in a Week 8 game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Forbes played in 14 games in his rookie season and started in 6 of them. Meanwhile, cornerback Christian Gonzalez was still on the board and taken 1 pick later by the New England Patriots. And he's become a Pro Bowler and played very well in Super Bowl 60, even though the Patriots lost that game against the Seahawks. Raiders drafting Clelin Ferrell at 4 in 2019. So when the Raiders shocked the NFL world by drafting Ferrell at the 4th pick of the 2019 NFL Draft, they thought they were getting an elite edge rusher who would cause havoc against opposing offenses and replicate the production that Khalil Mack left behind. Yeah, so Ferrell had an okay rookie year. He had 38 tackles, 4.5 sacks, the most in his career so far, 5 pass deflections, and a fumble recovery. However, Ferrell just lacked the fierce pass rush production. He did have 10 sacks in 58 games for the Silver and Black and had to work with multiple defensive coordinators throughout his time with the team, as the Raiders have a coaching turnover problem. Ferrell would eventually get outclassed by Max Crosby, who was drafted by the Raiders in the 4th round of the 2019 draft and has since become a 5-time Pro Bowler. Ferrell has since had stints with the San Francisco 49ers, Washington Commanders, the Los Angeles Chargers, and is currently back with the 49ers. 49ers trade 3 first-round picks to move up and draft Trey Lance in 2021. Lance's playing time at North Dakota State was limited, but he had 17 starts for the Bisons and helped the team win 2 FCS national championships. Despite the limited playing time, the 49ers traded away 3 first-round picks, 2021, 2022, and 2023, and a 2022 third-round pick to the Miami Dolphins to draft Lance and make him their next starting quarterback, even though they still had Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster. Lance was the second-string quarterback behind Garoppolo and was thrust into starting action after Garoppolo suffered a calf injury in a Week 4 game against the Detroit Lions. Lance started in 2 games for the Niners that season and had a 1-1 record as a starter, completing 41 passes for 603 yards, 5 touchdowns against 2 interceptions, rushing for 168 yards on 38 carries, and scoring a rushing touchdown. 2022 was much rougher, as Lance went 1-1 as a starter, completed 15 passes for 194 yards, throwing an interception and rushing for 67 yards on 16 carries as he dealt with a season-ending ankle injury in Week 2 against the Seattle Seahawks. Luckily, Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy emerged and helped the 49ers reach the NFC Championship game. Lance was traded to the Dallas Cowboys before the start of the 2023 season, with the 49ers rolling with Purdy as their starting QB. Honestly, drafting Lance made the 49ers look silly, as they made a real bad gamble. And as we mentioned earlier, the man got outplayed by Mr. Brock Purdy, who saved the day and has since kept the 49ers afloat in the NFC West. Bears trading up to draft Mitch Trubisky 2nd overall in 2017. After finishing the 2016 season with a 3-13 record, the Bears needed a new signal caller running the offense on field. So they decided to take a massive gamble and traded 2 third-round picks and a 4th-round pick to the 49ers to move up and draft Trubisky. Trubisky had limited starting time during his collegiate days with the UNC Tar Heels, as he started in 1 season for them and played in 13 games, but the Bears deemed him the best quarterback on the draft board, even though some guy named Patrick Mahomes went 8 picks later and became a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs. Trubisky ended up being a massive disappointment for the Bears, as they cut their losses and released him in 2021, and he's since become a journeyman backup for the Buffalo Bills, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Tennessee Titans. Jets drafting Christian Hackenberg in the 2nd round of 2016. Hackenberg never played a single snap with the Jets or in the NFL. He just sat on the bench. Hackenberg was traded to the Raiders in 2018, but never made their final roster. He also had brief stints with the Philadelphia Eagles and Cincinnati Bengals, but also never made their final rosters. Hackenberg did play professionally in 2019, as he suited up for the Memphis Express of the Alliance of American Football. Now, in the time since, Hackenberg's become a quarterback's coach at Winslow Township High School in New Jersey. So, yeah, looking back on this selection, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Isaiah Wilson getting drafted 29th overall in 2020. After reaching the 2020 AFC Championship game before getting defeated by the Kansas City Chiefs, the Tennessee Titans decided to draft a new offensive lineman to protect Ryan Tannehill for the upcoming year. And with that, they drafted Isaiah Wilson with the 29th pick of the 2020 draft, hoping that the former Georgia Bulldog would become a strong and reliable offensive tackle. Yeah, so about that. Wilson ended up getting into some trouble off the field, as he was arrested for a DUI during the start of the 2020 season. Wilson was on the COVID list before the start and during the start of the year, and wasn't activated until October of that year. Wilson played in 4 snaps during his time with the Titans, and was suspended for violating team rules in December. Wilson brought poor production to the Titans, had off-the-field issues, which resulted in him getting traded to the Miami Dolphins. But he never played a single snap for him, as he showed up late to his physical and orientation. The Eagles drafting Jalen Reagor 1 pick before Justin Jefferson. Eagles needed a new speedy wide receiver for Carson Wentz to work with after losing Nelson Aguilar in free agency. So they drafted Jalen Reagor with the 21st pick of the draft, hoping that he would bring his speed to Philadelphia like he did at TCU. Reagor ended up not panning out for the Eagles, as he caught 64 receptions for 695 yards, scoring 3 touchdowns and rushing for 68 yards on 14 carries in his 2 years with the Eagles. He dropped passes, sustained injuries, and muffed 2 punts in the team's 2022 wildcard round playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Reagor was traded to the Minnesota Vikings in 2022, and he had stints with the New England Patriots and Los Angeles Chargers, and was released by the Bolts after the 2025 season. All of this could have been avoided if the Eagles drafted Justin Jefferson, who went 1 pick after Reagor and has become one of the league's best wide receivers.
Jalen Reagor, wide receiver, TCU to the Eagles.
Nice! Get Justin Jefferson on the clock right now. Wow.
Cardinals moving up to draft Josh Rosen in 2018. Looking to start fresh for the 2018 season, the Cardinals drafted UCLA quarterback Josh Rosen with the 10th pick of the 2018 draft, and he famously said, "There were 9 mistakes ahead of me."
There were 9 mistakes made ahead of me, and I will make sure over the next decade or so that they will know that they made a mistake.
Well, when the season started, Rosen was not just bad, he was downright awful, as he struggled against opposing NFL defenses. Rosen completed 217 passes for 2,278 yards, throwing 11 touchdowns against 14 interceptions, and rushing for 138 yards on 23 carries. Oh, and he fumbled the ball 10 times and lost 5 fumbles in his rookie season.
I'm absolutely the best quarterback in the draft, by far. I want to win Super Bowls, and I want to have the most, so I'm coming for Tom Brady's record.
Yeah, the Cardinals cleaned up shop and drafted Kyler Murray in 2019 and shipped Rosen off to the Miami Dolphins via trade. He had brief stints with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, San Francisco 49ers, Atlanta Falcons, Cleveland Browns, and Minnesota Vikings before ultimately retiring from the NFL in 2023. Raiders drafting Alex Leatherwood in 2021 and releasing him 1 year later. Looking to fix their offensive line, the Raiders drafted Alex Leatherwood with the 17th pick of the 2021 draft, even though draft experts had him going later. Leatherwood played at offensive tackle for 4 games, but struggled and surrendered a league-high 65 pressures. The Raiders tried everything they could to help Leatherwood by moving him to offensive guard, but they released him before the 2022 season and continued to have offensive line problems. Meanwhile, Christian Darrisaw went 6 picks later and has emerged as a Pro Bowl standout for the Minnesota Vikings. But hey, which NFL draft pick are you still scratching your head over? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.